Happy June! Happy June, everybody!
Brian was pulling me.
I see you're on a park bench.
Hey, how's it going?
Happy June!
Good. I have three. Crazy.
Welcome to our Wednesday team meeting. This is one of my favorite parts because we all enjoy each other so much that it takes a little while to settle down. Yet, I think that's a good thing too.
Thomas is like, why does nobody sit in front?
Yeah, poor Thomas is on an island. He's like, first of all, yes, welcome Thomas, welcome Phil. Thank you for being here today. Thomas said, bragged about his dancing, yet we won't do that to him today. As far as he knows. Welcome, a lot of people I know are going to be on Zoom and watching it online this week. This is a big week. This is first week of June. What happens the first week of June? Kids graduate from stuff. And people are having all sorts of beautiful life things going on. I don't know about you, but my generation, when I graduated from kindergarten, it took about a week before my dad realized, why is he home? That was my generation.
Yep.
We didn't have a celebration. And then when my son graduates kindergarten, they had a whole celebration. And the teacher says, hey, you can either high five me or hug me. And my son yells, I'm a hugger! So, doesn't fall too far from the tree. Jason is looking very awkwardly at me, which isn't.
Nothing new there, brother, nothing new.
Well, all right, well, we'll graduate from the first slide. Those of you new online, and those of you new in here, my name is Jamie Ogden. I'm the Chief Value Officer here at Keller Williams Preferred Realty. I'm just up here representing the whole leadership team. And Jason Arvidsson, our Director of Tech, is, I don't want to call you like
Andy Richter is fine.
Andy Richter.
You know,
Okay.
not Vince McMahon, but
No, it's Ed McMahon.
Ed McMahon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Different guy.
That's a long time ago.
That is a Mandela effect. It never happened. He never showed up to do cops for checks.
That is true.
It's disappointing. It's a disappointing realization that he never showed up at the house with checks. Well, if you need a check, Karina.
That was their mission at the time. Well, the mission of Keller Williams is to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. That was awesome. That was awesome. Outstanding, Miss Tasha. And the vision is to become the company of choice for real estate agents and their customers, which you're going to learn more of soon. And let's give it up for Skilly, Eric Skillstead. This is the 1 week he didn't come in here today because he knew he'd be up here. And I respect that, Eric. So Eric was nominated for many reasons. One of the biggest ones for us here at Keller Williams Preferred Realty as Play of the Week is he's just been climbing up the charts. Wasn't that long ago where, no lie, right in the same seat as Thomas, where I was talking with Eric and he was brand new and his goal was to just move on from his job. He wanted to start real estate and move on from his 25-year career in IT and helping people, and he accomplished that, and he's climbing up the ranks on all of our measures. So that's something we take a lot of pride in. It's a beautiful thing. So let's give it up again. By the way, all the way from Italy, let's hear it for Trisha Rood. They gave her the boot. So, also, anyone that you know that we can honor with a play of the week, again, it can be for work, it can be for something unique family, it can be something for philanthropy, something that you just think, wow, that's pretty cool, because there's some amazing people here. Culture isn't just built by accident, it's built by everyone here. So, thank you. And we have the say of the week. For those of you who are at the Phil Jones, and those of you who are not, we're going to post these every week. We just talk them through. So this is a staying in the game opportunity. So these are moments where you want to keep your foot in the door. Let's say, you know what, I think I'm going to go with a discount broker or whatever they may say. The key words to use at the beginning is before you make up your mind, and then insert what you want to insert. In this case, it was before you make up your mind on who you're going to hire, even though they just kind of said who you're gonna hire. Before you make up your mind on who you're gonna hire, I'll prepare a specific marketing plan for your property and that will sell for the most amount of money than the average agent, or more. That's my typo. So, before you make up your mind. They've made up their mind, but before you make up your mind, just an opportunity to stick your foot in the door. And join me, you can't really see it, but at the bottom, we're gonna do an ETW, or we're gonna do exactly what to say role play on June 18th at 12:30. Come one, come all. Before we do that, we can't do that yet.
Okay, she has music.
We need to get our walk-ups ready. All right, ready?
Skipping the music.
CC, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Oh, Tom's dance. That was cute.
So this is just me, really quickly, I just want to send out an appreciation and to tell you all just a big, huge thank you. We've been talking about referrals and using your influence, and I'm just kind of here to reflect back the impact that you're having, particularly with my role. I am making calls and I'm reaching out to those people that you all have referred to me. I do have an appointment on the books, so the role is projecting further, much quicker than the 90 days. But I just want to say thank you all to you agents who are sending me. You are doing that directive of preheating the oven for me. And what's happening is when I'm reaching out, simply because I'm mentioning your name, they give me a call back right away. And I just want you all to know that you guys are doing fantastic things out there, but you have so much impact and influence that when I use your name, it's the reason that they will actually call me back. So I just want to let you guys know that you're all superstars. Thank you so much for what you're doing. I am making those calls, and thank you for giving me that warm, soft lead and preheating the oven for me. It is working. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, this is a rare opportunity. We couldn't choose what players they put in our clubhouse. You guys get to choose who you want in your clubhouse with you. I think that's pretty special. And we're building something very special. We are going to be doing a contest here starting next week, where if you give a warm lead, whether it's a three-way text or just a formal introduction to CC, PC, any C's around here you can find. Even CE, which Melissa will talk about. You know? Anyway, so that is coming. Be ready. Big prizes. We're gonna have a good time with it.
Great job, you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. She's hitting the ground running like we knew she would. Speaking of hitting the ground running, let's go. Come on up, Karina. Money!
Make it free.
Yes, and then all you guys want.
She's good.
So we are on the hunt for a new transaction coordinator in-house. As some of you may know, Jenny is moving on to bigger and better things and has decided to focus on her personal real estate career. She is now an agent as well as the director of operations for Custodio Tuft Home Group. So congratulations, Jenny. I know you're back there. So even though that she is taking on this new role with CHTG, she has graciously offered to still maintain her current client list. She will not be taking on new agents, but she's always here for any questions or help, as well as Jason, myself, front desk, Melissa. We're all here to help you with any questions that you have regarding transactions and such. So with that being said, we are on the search and we would love to hear your referrals of people that you know that excel in transactions, love all the details of what a transaction is, and love getting their T's crossed and I's dotted, as well as has their real estate license. So if you know of anybody, please shoot me an email, let me know. We will have a Facebook post going up later today that will have the link to the job postings so that you can share that with your warm referrals. Yay. And regarding transaction policy.
Smile, everybody.
Thanks. And then with that, we do want to remind you about the policy for transaction coordination to be held within the house.
There's a can.
There is no outside transaction companies or individuals allowed to be working on our files. This help protects our security for KWPR information as well as your client's information. We cannot stress that enough. It's very important that we protect our client's information with everything that happens out in the world with security breaches and things like that. So the less fingers are in the pies, less chance, or the more opportunity we have to keep that information private. And also with that, for unlicensed and licensed TCs, we have found from our E&O insurance provider that only agents, licensed agents with KWPR, as well as direct hires of KWPR are covered under E&O insurance. So those TCs and admins that aren't licensed, they can, if they're on your direct payroll as a team or an individual, you can still have them here at the office. However, we do recommend that you get your own E&O insurance so that they are covered. So talk to your insurance provider and say like, hey, I have this admin, our office E&O doesn't cover that. What do I need for them to be covered in the event of anything that happens? So I know there's probably gonna be a ton of questions. So see me after the team meeting if you have any of those.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Karina. Awesome. Well, speaking of great people. Can you do that again for the people online? Yeah, you guys missed that. That's one of the in-house perks.
I don't know if you guys all knew this, but last year around this time, sadly, we had a code of ethics violation and the violator had to pay $250. And it was a large use of her time. It was a huge embarrassment. And since then, I have been watching you. I have been watching your social media to make sure that you are complying with both our code of ethics and also the Department of Commerce. Fines are at a minimum $250, but they can go all the way up to $25,000, which seems, wow, like really outrageous. So here are the problems, and I want to give you a heads up. I'm literally calling it a sting. I'm going to do a social media sting this summer. According to state statute 82.69, any advertising by a licensee must clearly and conspicuously display the real estate brokerage name. So if you say, hey, congrats to my daughter on her graduation, you don't need to mention anything about Keller Williams. But if you say, come see me at my open house today, look at this beautiful backyard, somewhere either in your words, in the comments, you need to mention that you're licensed with Keller Williams Preferred Realty. Not just Keller Williams Preferred Realty, because we're independently owned and operated. Likewise, Article 12 of the Code of Ethics also requires that you ensure your status so everyone understands this person is indeed a realtor. So Jamie and I were talking about this yesterday. Oh, would you just click through to the next one? If you don't believe me in my summary, you can always search up the state statute on Google, or you can go to the National Association of Realtors with Article 12.
I didn't believe you, so I'm glad you did that.
I know, hard to believe. Jamie and I were talking about this yesterday, and he was like, social media sting, what's that like? And I said, well, you know, were you in college? Anyone here ever been to college? Probably many of you, yeah. Were any of you in a
12
sorority
years.
or fraternity like we were?
Been there.
Yeah, been there. So do you remember those days when every now and then you would be like, what's going on? When the house director comes knocking on your door and they do a random search. Did anyone have to live through one of those? I'll bet
Been
you
there.
did.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, at the sorority house, they were searching for booze and boys. None of them were allowed. None of them were allowed. So I am going to be searching your social media, but I'm not going to be mean about it. You guys know who I am. I'm going to take a very gentle approach. I will screenshot, I'll text you, I'll email you, maybe I'll send you a private message. It won't be embarrassing whatsoever. But I'm looking out for you. I want to be like that big sis at the sorority who gives a heads up, like, collect the cigarettes and the beer. Someone's coming down the hallway. All right, so this is to help you. This is to help you avoid fines. But most importantly, it really is to help elevate your professionalism. We want to comply with these regulations. They're there for a good reason, and I want to help you guys be compliant. So really quick, I already touched on this. Next screen, please. I want to help you avoid the fines and mostly the headache. So the best way that you can include KWPR in your posts is by putting KWPR right on your pretty graphic. All of us are having fun making those graphics these days. Or somewhere in the caption, say that you're licensed with Keller Williams Preferred Realty, and go one step further, tag KWPR. We would love to be tagged in all of your posting comments. Does anyone have any questions? Jamie, any questions?
No, I know that, what is that?
He bet that.
What did she say? Hey,
All I had to say was
Your hair looks
very
nice today.
boys and girls and music.
well, it's funny that you should speak up, Olivia. So we've already started our sting. And we found a couple egregious situations. This is on Olivia's page. This is her and Melissa at Kappa Tegavira, which is the sorority house that they were in. That is not what we want to be posting. So,
That
and
is
then,
me in my dorm room
And
when
this
we
is her-
celebrated the Packer win in 1997.
I didn't drink underage.
1970.
We're there, 1997.
That for sure is not me. That's my face on my first business card in 20.
actually, her camp sent me that one. So, okay, and then we warned her, you know, Melissa does a good job. We said, hey, we need to be more compliant. So, she did put the logo on here. She can't wait to get mugged again in Oktoberfest.
Okay, all kidding aside, you don't need to do it on your personal post, but on your business post, please be sure to use the logo.
Thank you, Melissa. Let's give her one. Speaking of pirates,
That's not connected at
that's
all.
not connected, but I want to say speaking of pirates.
Speaking of your graphic,
15 men on a dead man's chest. Yo ho ho with a bottle of rum. Done for the
we're
rest.
talking about right there, right? You probably have seen, you likely have heard, and if you haven't seen or heard, that's why I'm here, to tell you about the fact that Keller Williams has signed an agreement that we will have what they call a flagship enterprise relationship.
Whoa.
Very nice. With a favorite of many real estate agents, Canva. And what that means is you're gonna be able to use Canva in many of the same ways that you do now, plus way more cool stuff. So Jamie, why don't you hit that button for me and tell me what some of those cool things are? Nope, let's do a video instead, so you can be excited to find out what those cool things are.
Keller Williams and Canva, we're bringing together the best in real estate and design. At Keller Williams, we believe real estate agents should work with best-in-class technology. Together with Canva, we're reimagining real estate marketing.
Our flagship enterprise relationship with Keller Williams brings you the world's best tools to make design and marketing effortless.
Premium KW branded graphics make creating high-impact content faster and easier than ever.
This is not just about templates. We're building a bespoke experience for Keller Williams. It gives their market centers and agents way more creativity.
With Canva's design-driven platform, the power of KW Command, and the insight of KW agents, we're providing cutting-edge technology built by agents for agents.
We're building an intuitive Keller Williams experience, making it easier than ever for agents to create beautiful, effective content without switching platforms or missing a beat.
We know design isn't just about how things look, it's about how they work.
With Canva, you're in control of your brand. Whether it's a reel, whether it's a postcard, or a listing video, every agent now has the power to stand out with confidence.
We're inspired to work with a company that cares deeply about people. It's part of our culture too.
From the first click
To the final post,
together,
we're making design
In marketing,
Faster, easier, and 100% Keller Williams.
Keller Williams and Canva.
It's good to be the king, right? It is. It's good to be the king. Because you don't see that with anybody else.
That's right.
Let me ask you a quick question. Anybody in here, go ahead and raise your hand if you've used Canva before. Of course you have. It's a huge deal. And to be able to use it with Keller Williams stuff, amazing. You hate it? You hate it? You hate it? What do you use instead?
Trisha.
There you go. So Trisha loves it, and that's the important thing. Let me ask you this. When I say you're gonna have an exclusive agreement with Keller Williams, then you're saying to yourself, and I know this is what Laura is thinking, because this is how Laura thinks. She goes, how much more is it gonna cost me now that I'm a Keller Williams agent and you have Canva? Laura, what is that number? If you thought the answer was 0 and you said nothing, you would be dead correct. With no extra charges, it's already part of your fees for being Keller Williams. So that's exciting. So what do I get? What are the key features? Design templates, right? So design templates specifically created for what you're doing, which is fantastic. That's a big win. AI-powered design. AI will be involved in the process. You can use it to make it easier for you to do the work. And that's really what our AI comes in, right? What do I need? Using AI to help you edit things, make it better, making the process better. Dynamic marketing. Focusing on what is the right client and what is the right thing for this particular image, or how do we use that? And that's built into AI, but together, it'll take a lot of the guesswork out. Is this the right thing or that the right thing? And I know, and I've talked with everybody, and you all know almost every time I stand up here, I say consistency beats perfection, but I know that we still live in the perfection world, and I want to know exactly the right font for this customer, because they're different than all the others, and they really need a different color. Look, that's what dynamic marketing is all about. It targets those sorts of conditions and situations based on research and what people activate on. And that'll be an important part of it. Innovative commitment, all right, they'll continue to get better. We like that. This is designed by agents for agents, will keep getting better. Customer engagement, obviously, best marketing materials. If you're gonna spend time and effort on that marketing, you want it to be the best it can be. And getting the best partner to help with that is important. You can build out your brand consistency tools, and in the future, it will be built into Command, but right now it'll just be a separate experience. So with that in mind, I know you have questions, and I'm ready to answer them. Go ahead.
When does it roll out?
That's a great question, 3rd quarter. And when I say 3rd quarter, you're thinking the beginning, and I'm thinking the end. No, I don't know, somewhere in the 3rd quarter. So that's 3 months, but it is not here yet. So if you're super energetic and you're very excited and you go in there and you've read all of the stuff that I've sent and posted on Facebook and you've gone way down to the bottom line and said, how do I get enrolled in this? And you tried, you wouldn't succeed because it's not available. But it will be available in the 3rd quarter. Go ahead, man.
Are you gonna do a training on this?
What's funny you mention that.
Yeah.
Of course we will, but more exciting than that, back in the back, right there, go ahead, raise your hand, lady. We're doing a training tomorrow, just on Canva in general. So if you were just excited about saying, I want to get a head start on Canva because I like Canva, we're gonna have the marketing person who's very bright, and then the technical person who's not very bright, get together and present to you all the great things about Canva. Because while I try to make things be effective and she tries to make things pretty, we get together and it becomes pretty effective.
If you currently have a professional Canva account, will there be a way to merge that into this?
Yes, in the 3rd quarter, when we launch.
Yeah.
So yes, that's very important and future, but coming. What time tomorrow, Grace, are we doing this thing?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. What else we got? Come on, throw me a stump. Well, you can't stump people when you're excited. They're excited, so I'm excited with you, brother. What do you got here?
That was, I'm pretty, what do you call it,
Pretty effective.
pretty effective.
You are neither.
Wow. Wow.
Ugly and effective. We gotta call it. You're like the White Sox, win and ugly.
Hey, no, that's okay with me. The one thing I wanna say about this, first of all, thank you, Jason, being on top of all these things and not just being intelligent and you have great wisdom and you are creative. That's a unique combination. Also, what I'm really, this blew my mind from the standpoint of Keller Williams has been #1 for more than a decade, and he just keeps going. The gap just keeps widening. You know, there's been some companies recently that have come out with some pretty good marketing stuff. Well, the whole time he's been working on the best marketing possible to be in your back office, adding no cost.
Yeah,
So
some
that blows my mind. He
really
could just
cool
chill,
things.
he doesn't have to do this.
Are, in-house templates that you can build even from a market center basis that can be shared with everybody.
In-house templates?
So all kinds of fun stuff.
What if it's an outhouse?
Well, then it'll sell for a higher price, because those are,
Okay.
those are.
Sorry, that was a
this is-
crappy
I don't know,
joke.
I'm making up real
They're
estate words now.
But I just wanted everyone, that perspective blows me away. I was reading, this isn't to talk about any other companies, it's specific, this just talks about the gap. I read that in 2024, there were 55,000 plus people who attended Bold either in person or online. Now that's other companies as well that comment. And Remax has had 51,000 associates last year. So more people attended Bold than the second competitor, so to speak, in the franchise world. That blows my mind. That's pretty bold. Perspective statement. And we are in the perspective business. And speaking of perspective, let's bring up Grace. Thank you, Jason. No, you can't steal it.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. She loves this. Okay, so there are a lot of super cool marketing stuff that's happening, like we just heard of, but there's a lot of KWPR specific ones that we're excited to share with you guys. One of them being, I am working with Rachel Adams-Lee. Most of you know her. She's an amazing social media expert. I'm working with her on our external social media. So if you do not already follow us, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook by scanning these QR codes. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for you guys to share out to your sphere. We just did a market update post. There's going to be reels every week for you to share. And tomorrow we're going to be promoting your listings. So there's certain criteria that Rachel Adams-Lee has for picking those listings, which we will let you know later on how you can meet that criteria. And then we just want you guys to be able to share that out to people, promote each other, and promote your own listings. So great. Yeah, that's kind of the update with our external social media. So great opportunities to share that out and use our resources.
Yeah, this has been amazing to watch with Grace because she's built out such an amazing program already, and she's got some other things in the pipeline for you. Then Olivia had an opportunity here with Rachel Adams-Lee to just kind of inject steroids into the situation. And for you to pick up things so quickly, it just started, so we're doing a featured listing tomorrow, so we're just going forward, we say just go, right? And get better as you go, the perfectionism piece that Jason was talking about, no, just go, and you get perfect as you go. So it's been awesome watching you do this while building on what you've already done, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I add something? Oh, yeah.
Dottie.
Also, Grace, like she said, is partnering with Rachel Adams-Lee, and there's gonna be a lot of content on reels and things that are great for recruitment, like what a day in the life might look like here, what our culture might be like here. And it would be a really great thing with the profit share contest coming up. You could point them to this and they can get a little bit of a feel of what it's like inside here too.
Thanks, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, G. Since Dottie was talking, let's just keep it rolling.
Okay. Okay. My slide.
Well, that's you.
Okay. Here I am. Okay. CEs are coming up. Does anybody not know that CEs are coming up? Don't raise your hand. If you don't know, don't let us know that. Anyway, okay, so not only is this important because it's important in general, right? But there's a little curveball in this situation here. So there are going to be, Karina might need you to jump in at some point. However, I'm just going to read the first line. It says, we encourage you to complete your continuing education requirements by June 15th if possible. A partial government shutdown could disrupt CE processing and impact real estate license renewals for both brokers and real estate salespersons. So basically, if a budget doesn't get approved they're going to be doing layoffs, and this particularly affects the people that do the license renewals. So, with that being said, if your CEs are not done, I would say by the 15th, I would maybe start planning on having quite a while without your license. I'm not saying this to scare you, I'm just saying that the reality of this happening is real. And so basically, the layoffs are happening on July 1st. And June 30th is the official deadline for CE. So this is always important, but this year it's specifically important because if your CEs are not done, to be able to get your license reinstated, there's gonna be quite a delay. Okay, so let's just get on it. And I would honestly say that if your CEs are not done by the 15th, I don't wanna say that you're SOL, but you might be. Okay?
What is that?
I can't swear, I don't swear.
Oh, what is that?
Stuff out of luck.
Stuff out of luck.
You don't swear.
So, let's just get on it, okay? There's a lot of you that really need to get on it.
Really?
Yeah, there is. So let's do that.
I'll send everybody an email on Friday with what your requirements are and what you're still needing, so watch out for those emails.
Yeah, okay. Okay, speaking of CE, we have a free CE class that is going to be provided by Cinch on June 11th from 12:30 to 1:30. This is free to you, so if you haven't completed your CE, here's a good place to start. MCA orientation, June 11th at 2 p.m. This is taught by our wonderful Karina. Happy Father's Day. We're going to be doing Donuts for Dads that we always do June 12th. It'll probably be set up in the lobby. You don't have to be a dad to get a donut. It is just in celebration of dads. You know, because on Mother's Day, there was a whole lot of guys taking mimosas. Okay?
Garden donuts for us.
I will guard the donuts.
So, to celebrate all the dads.
Walk the plank.
We appreciate you a brunch. Jason and Jamie didn't make this actually, but it's, something that they would say. Anyway, there's gonna be a sponsored coffee bar, a photo op, brunch hosted by KWPR on June 25th. It's a day where we just appreciate you. We appreciate you every day, but this is just a little extra, So there's gonna be a coffee bar. It's gonna be a really great time. And the annual barbecue is July 9th. I know we've mentioned this a bunch of times, but it's coming up. A sign up is going to be coming out a little bit later this month so that people don't, bring a whole bunch of the same thing. So KWPR always provides the meats and the buns, and we'll have a sign up that goes around for sides and all of the stuff that I really like. Also, we did it. We hit our goal of $888. We hit it by over by $100. So we get to have a Zoom with Mo, and I'm so excited because who doesn't love Mo? And also, Grace did something really cool that I was hoping that we would maybe have a response on this by this week, but we don't yet. We sent Mo Anderson one of our Red Day shirts. And we wrote her a little note, and in it we just told her how much we all appreciate her, told her a little bit about our Red Day story from this year, and I'm really hoping that we get a response because how cool would that be? And also when we get a Zoom, I'm definitely gonna bring it up, so. Yeah, that's all.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
Thank you. So much fun. Oh, it's one of my heroes. So what we learned from this is holding you hostage in a team meeting works.
Yeah.
So, very good. Speaking of holding hostage, let's have Brian come and talk about bridge loans.
Don't you think it's time? Don't you think?
I don't. All right, so I am always looking for ways to get your offers accepted. You can make all kinds of offers, and but if they're not getting accepted, you're not making money. All right. The only way, or almost the only way, is to make a non-contingent offer. You make all the contingent offers, and you're going to be out showing a lot of houses. All right. So there's 3 different ways that I can help you make a non-contingent offer. And so, without Drake, my graphics aren't as good. It doesn't even say NAFCash on there. But this, the first way is to be able to make a cash offer. your owner or you're selling a house, they've got a lot of equity, but maybe they don't qualify for both homes. We can buy the house for cash, and then when you do sell their house, they basically buy it back for a fee from NavCash. And again, maybe they don't qualify for both, but we're not counting the payment on their existing home, so they can make a non-contingent, in this case, the best kind of offer, cash offer, all right? Second is our bridge loan, all right? And I'm kind of actually working on all three of these right now. Got a customer, Social Security pension. Doesn't have a big mortgage on her townhouse, but can't afford both the new townhouse and the old mortgage payment, all right? What we do is we'll do a bridge loan and refinance the current mortgage, pull, let's say 20% out to put down on the new house, and we don't count the bridge loan payment. So the customer qualifies for the new house, we're not counting the old payment, and when you sell it a month later, they're basically putting the extra equity that they have onto their new mortgage, and now they have a nice low mortgage, all right? Thirdly, is our recast program. And so our recast program is, some customers do qualify to own the old house and buy a new house and qualify with both payments, all right? They need to come up with 5% down, buy the new house, and when you sell their house a month or two later, take that equity, apply it onto the new mortgage, drastically lower the principal balance, we'll recast that payment down to the much lower principal balance, eliminate mortgage insurance, and now they have that one low mortgage payment that they wanted to start with. That whole process costs $300. So again, just looking for ways for your customers' offers to get accepted. Any other questions on that program or anything else? I'm right around the corner, stop in, give me a call. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, wait.
Hold on, everybody. It's just in.
So, our Red Day group from Prior Lake, we were submitted by the mayor of Prior Lake to the state of Minnesota
Nice.
for community involvement, and we won.
There's a ribbon.
Yep, we won, and so there's gonna be a lunch and all kinds of things involved. I'll let our team know when that comes up, all right?
That's just the Prior Lake group.
Correct, just a Prior Lake.
Thanks, Brian. Brian's always so thoughtful and stuff around the office. We love it. And congratulations on the lunch, sir. So, we just had a quick question for you. The first team meeting of the month, we like to talk mindset. And I just want you to think, how's your blowhole? This is what we spoke of at the last Keller KW Connectors meeting. How's your blowhole? What does that mean? Well, I was hoping you guys could tell me. No. So the analogy, the thought is that whales and dolphins, they're like us. We're mammals, right? And they're in the ocean. I think you guys know that, right? Nothing fishy about that, right? All right. So they need to come up out of the water, unlike everyone else. They need to come up out of the water. They need to blow everything out, and then stay up long enough to fill themselves with oxygen. Are you doing that? Are you purposeful with this? I think what happens is the water really represents the world that we're just swimming in, right? Well, how are we being purposeful with it? Because what happens if you're a lot like me is you're running around, okay, I need oxygen quick, and I'll go up and go down, but I didn't blow enough out or I didn't take enough in. And that's when we as agents witness burnout. Okay, so what are you doing? Just want to challenge you, and it parlays into what we're going to talk about next. We'll bring the lovely Jason up. And what are you doing to blow your blowhole clear, and spending enough time taking it in. One of those things is actually, it was a great meeting I had with Tom Wright like over a year ago. It's like, I can't stop thinking of real estate. It's like no matter what I'm doing, real estate pops in my head. I'm doing this, my grandkids, real estate pops in my head. What are activities that you do that when you focus on it, you can't think of anything else? So speaking of blowing, he was this trumpet. It's not quite a trumpet, was it? It is a trumpet. He called it something funky. So it's this particular trumpet. However, when he's practicing that, reading the notes and working on it, he can't think of real estate. So what are you planning in your schedule where you're not, things that don't let you think about real estate for a time? That's part of coming up, or oxygen. So be purposeful. Deal?
Yeah, deal.
Deal?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Check your blowhole. Speaking of blowholes, Jason, come on up. I'm already up. You are up.
I'm already up. Hey, just want to talk a little bit about how many people in the room right now were at Jake Lure's? Pretty good mix. I'm a big fan of Jake. I mentioned this at the meeting where he was giving it, that I've been following him really since I first started here. I think the first time I stood up in front of all of you, he was in the crowd. He was here giving a presentation, and ever since then I've just been a Jake Lure's fan. But he's, over the last period of time he's been in, he's taken a personal journey, and he shared that journey on Instagram and Facebook. And through that journey, he's learned a lot of things about himself and about how to conduct himself in a professional and personal way. And I thought today would be a great day to just kind of reflect on some of the stuff we might have picked up, because every time I've been to a training, whether it's going to family reunion or mega leadership camp or any other great trainings that we have, somebody always like stops me right at the end and goes, "Hey, here's your takeaway." And then I've learned some stuff about that, and it's important to kind of think about that. But what I've really learned about that is like a week later, somewhere in the what is your takeaway and the week later, I got a real takeaway. That's when it finally kind of, yeah, that was what I took at the moment. But when I took a week later and really thought about back what had happened, I realized there's something else that I really truly learned, and that's what I've actually started doing. And I thought it'd be interesting to talk with you guys about, now that we're a week away from this, some different sorts of things that maybe you picked up or that you felt like you really picked up from his presentation. Because he talked about so many different things. And every time, you've probably heard that analogy that every time you enter a river, you're a different person and the river's different water. So as a result, there's a different learning, right? So every person in that room also would have picked up a different learning from somebody who was here with no motive other than to help you on your own journey. Who's got an idea of something they might have picked up from Jake last week? Anybody? Nobody learned anything from Jake. Sat here for a whole week, a whole hour. Huh? You learned something.
I wasn't there.
You didn't learn anything. There you go. Lisa, thank you.
I guess what I took mainly, and there's a lot of things I took, but I think what stood with me most was when I first met him too, he's like a big successful realtor, like just teams and leadership and all that. And then to see that he's a normal person that had life happen and had to take a step back and it was okay, it made somebody that big more relatable to me. Like I could go, okay, so, you know, things that have happened in my life, like I can still get there, or it's okay to step back when you need to or whatever. It just made him more real for me. So that's what I enjoyed most. The fact that he would share it, I mean, that's very vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, if you were here, he was extremely upfront about the situation. Or, you know, just what he's learned and how it's been there. And I think we all have that first taste of that, right? When we see our elementary school teacher at the store, or maybe coming out of the bathroom and we realize, oh, they're real people. That teacher really, because she goes to the grocery store? That's weird. They're only at school, right? But it's real. You have that kind of challenge or that space. Jamie, what's something you picked up?
Well, one of the biggest things I picked up was, so we've always heard, especially, I mean, one of the popular things that there has been, and our country here, for, I don't know, it's been about 20 years, 25 years, is the book, The Secret. You could see it, you could beat it, that kind of thing, and you bring it in through your thoughts. So I always thought about it as a GPS. You know, if you don't type anything into your car, it just shows you where you're at, no matter where you're driving. However, if you type a specific address, so when I set my goals, I would always set the GPS and envision reaching that goal. He brought it to a whole nother level. He said, it's not enough to envision you achieving that goal. You need to envision the steps that you need to be there. And that's the process, and you need to learn to love and enjoy the daily process, the daily drive. Otherwise, we're unhappy until we get to our destination, because we're not there. But if we learn to love this part of it, the part of driving there, then our whole life is more fulfilling.
Teddy, you mentioned best selves. You remember the conversation about best selves and the question he asked regarding best selves?
Uh-huh.
Can you tell us that question?
Well, the one that I'm staring at, I don't know if this is the same thing you're talking about living your life. Yeah, okay, well, my biggest takeaway was don't live your life on other people's expectations. Live your life on your terms. And I think it's just a good reminder because I, like most people, have a very people-pleasery, you know, way of doing things. And at the same time, I can be brutally honest, but sometimes I think I need to be a little more honest with myself and get real with my expectations. And then the other thing that I thought was great is you don't have a problem, we have a decision to make. And I thought that was really good.
So when you say you don't have a problem, you have a decision to make, what does that mean to you? How do you take that to the next thing, right? I have a problem. I don't like getting up early.
Yeah. Well, then maybe we should go to bed early.
So there's a decision. There's something you can do about it. As long as it remains in that it's a problem space, you don't win the game. It's only when you realize that a decision needs to be made to go forward, and then you make the decision that it starts to change. We've been talking today just because a lot of different things moving and all kinds of craziness and silly stuff, and that we're working out on as a leadership team and individual in each of our different lives. But fear only exists till the point you take action. And the longer it takes for you to take the action, the longer you have to be afraid. And if you don't like being afraid, you should probably take an action. Because in addition to stopping the fear, the longer you have to think about it, the more crazy scenarios you're going to come up with to be afraid of. It is only the action that changes that. And so if you want to stop being afraid, you need to take, as Toddy pointed out, a decision needs to be made. What is the most likely thing that I can do to get started? That first step suddenly removes all of the fears. And if you think about that, maybe you're back to your grade school days when you were in the school play and you got to be the little teapot, short and stout, and tip you over and pour you out. Before you took the stage that night, man, all the things that could go wrong were rolling through your head. All of it was right there. You got up on that stage and suddenly it was gone. All you had was the practice you'd done and knowing what you had to do. And the fear is gone, now it's just the actions. And so action is the antidote to fear. You've got to take the first step.
I heard a great analogy was that fear is meant to be the warning on your dashboard of your car. So you take action to, it's meant to bring attention to something and give you the desire, the motivation to go address it. It's not meant to drive it. And how many things in our lives do we let drive it? And I'll tell you what, I'd be driving with fear if one tip that Jake did not say about what you said, you don't have a problem, you have a decision to make, don't tell your spouse that. You don't have a problem, you have a decision to make, unless you want to be the decision that's made.
That will get you out of there. And the other thing you mentioned is, one of the things we put here about was personal boundaries, right? Who am I trying to please with this? Boundaries are a challenge for, well, a lot of people. in a lot of situations. And the biggest challenge I think most people have with boundaries is having them set before the interaction. And it's our good friend, why can't I never think of his name when I need to? But talks about the worst time to practice what you're about to say is when you're about to say it, right? And the same thing is true about boundaries. The worst time to have to establish a boundary is when somebody's already passed it, right? That's gotta be set in advance. But you can't set the boundary until you've thought about what's important to you and why the things are in your place and why the things you do the way the things you do them, so that you can say, this is past it, because you don't even know if you haven't thought about it until you're feeling uncomfortable with the situation that you're already beyond. So you do have to give some thought to boundaries, and who are the people that you need to establish those boundaries with, right? I mean, that's an important part of that process too. Anytime you enter into a new relationship, that's the best time to start setting boundaries. And the only people, this is something Jake said, and I will paraphrase because it's not an exact quote, but the only people who are really upset with you establishing boundaries are the people who are already beyond them. Those are the people who get mad about it. It's not the people who don't know them yet. It's the people who already are way past out there living in their best life on your land. You've got to set those boundaries in advance so that you can be clear about it. And then you hold them.
I have one of the things that I highlighted and that he said was, what important people in your life are getting your leftovers?
Thank you. That is one of my favorite principles, and one of the things I hope somebody would bring up. Because I grew up in whatever scenario I grew up, but as a parent, you know what I mean? One of the funny things I think when you're a kid, you always say, I'm never gonna be. I'm not gonna be that parent. I'll never do what that did. That was crazy. I'm never gonna do that, right? And then you start living your life, right? And you start doing all the things. And the best 8 hours of most people's days in terms of their ability, productivity, the skill, the thought, and intention they apply to their life, the best time that they do is applied to their work. And if you think about that, that's probably true, that you apply the best effort, time, intensity, etc. to your work. And yet, this is the most important person in my life beside me. Thank you. When I'm here, you aren't, right? But why am I not applying the best effort I have, the best things that I can do to the people who matter the most in my life? Now, that doesn't mean quit your job and go be a slave to somebody who's important to you. That's not what we're saying. We already talked about boundaries, and that's why I'm really glad that that came up first. But what it means is, am I being intentional about this relationship? And am I trying to bring my best effort to it when I'm involved in it? It's about being where your feet are. And are they getting your leftovers? Or are they getting the main meal? Are they the one you're serving? Or all the people that are involved, right? Whether it's your children, your spouse, your parents, whomever that may be in your life. Cats. I don't have any, they're scary. Stop breathing. But those are the important, and are they getting your best? Or are you giving it to somebody else? And if they're not, that doesn't mean, again, and I want to be clear, doesn't mean quit your job or give up on that. It means, how do I bring myself better in that moment? And for me, when I first started making that transition, when I would get home from my very angry retail job, I would have to sit in my car for 5 minutes and collect myself. I would have to sit in the car and say, I am not walking into this house bringing the attitude I left my job with when I come into this room, because I never want them to see me that way again. I don't want to bring that in here. I did not want to bring them, the leftovers of work, into my home where I live. This is my place. And that's making a decision. That's taking that responsibility. It's setting boundaries. And I set boundaries, the person I had to set boundaries with first was myself. And then I had to start working on other people's boundaries. But the boundaries I had with myself were the ones ones that were really messed up. And I didn't know that until I started exploring what they were. Pam's got a great point. Sometimes, she mentions, she doesn't even feel like she has any leftovers to give, right? So, in the end, that's, and I, without having another conversation with Pam and I have talked on a number of occasions about different things, but a lot of times, that's the first time that you realize your boundaries are way up. I don't have anything left to give. Well, who's setting that standard? Right? I mean, things are gonna come up. You're gonna have to adjust. But if you haven't set your boundaries correctly, and if you can go back one thing for me, Jamie. I don't think he knows how to go back. He's only 4. You're not using your blowhole. You're gonna be in a place where you don't have leftovers left to give because you're not taking that breath. You're not coming up for air. You're just going and going and going. And when that happens, you get overwhelmed. You start making choices and you start reacting to situations instead of responding to them. And your response is the critical thing that you have to offer the world. That's where you win the game. If you're in the reaction game, you're losing because that's not your best self. The first thing you think isn't the right thing. I can tell you, I've said a lot of things first and then thought about them later. Trust me, it's not the best place to live. Any other thoughts or things from Jake that anybody wants to bring up? I'd love to hear what you think about it.
In reviewing my notes, there's a lot, but he asked the question, he said, are you different than you were 12 months ago? And of course, well, yeah, we're different, we're better. He's like, well, how? How can you articulate it? How are you better? And then he said, who do I want to become in the next 12 months? Who am I as a human, and can I articulate it? Then the other thing that really struck me was when he was talking about if somebody were to interview me and I was 85 years old, so fast forward, right? And when you think about that, are you living, those years, and are you committed to being who you want? It's kind of the same thing that Toddy said, right? Are the beliefs that you believe, were those given to you? Whether it's past programming or, past relationships or whatever it may be. And then one last thing was what small promises are you breaking to yourself every day? Which then can correlate, I've been working on my boundaries list because you guys all know I work a ton and I've got to stop doing that. And so when you look at what are the promises that we're breaking to ourselves daily, just little ones, whether it's a step challenge or I'm not gonna have gluten or whatever, like if it's important to you, then why aren't you staying committed to it, right? So not breaking those tiny small promises to ourselves.
Having thought about that, Olivia, what happens when you break a small promise to yourself?
Well, he says it's a lack of self-confidence.
Well, that's why, but what happens when you do?
Oh, I think you beat yourself up and you get
Damages your self-esteem.
And then you just do it again and.
Right, it builds a
It
cycle
becomes a
of it's
repetition.
now okay.
That's all your other decisions.
All your other decisions that are impacted by the fact that if I can't even keep a promise to myself, and that's not you up here, that's the back of the brain, working real hard. If I can't keep promises to myself, what else goes out there?
And then you're breaking your own boundaries and then everyone else can.
It's a difficult cycle. So, first step, give some thought to what your limits are. Think about those, and then who's the most important person you need to have a conversation with right now? Think about that. And I promise you, if you get quiet, sit down and think about who the most important person you need to have a conversation with is. You'll know pretty quick. You'll know exactly what you need to talk to them about. And sometimes that person could be you. But then have that conversation. Because once you have it, the weird thing about having that conversation is once it's done, you go, oh, I feel so much better. Who else can I talk to? You start having more of them. But the thing that's holding you back from that conversation, I promise, is fear. And the antidote to fear is action. Nike had a slogan that said, just do it, and there's a reason it sells. Olivia?
Two more things. I was texting with Jake to let him know, lots of ahas in the room and thanking him for his time. So, excuse me, somebody in the room texted me that day and said, hey, what podcast was he talking about when he was talking about being a people pleaser? So I just asked him for it. So it's Nick Pollard, Pollard, episode number 884, how to stop being such a people pleaser. He also said he has not seen any testimonials from this office from when he talked. There was probably 30 of us in there, so if we could send an email to him with the testimonial, JakeL@KW, that'd be great. Did you send one, Jamie?
Yeah, there's something wrong then.
Okay.
I know there's something wrong.
You sent one for sure?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay. Perfect.
Thank you. Well, I will listen to that, not to please you, but for myself.
Good.
And I just want you all to take note. So leadership, oftentimes it's a title, but it's not. It's earned, and people lead by example. And I love ripping on Olivia. For those of you who don't know, Olivia is owner here as well as the regional director guru. And she was here fully present for that meeting with Jake because she knew the impact of it, and you just heard her notes. She's leading by example. She's taking this stuff seriously. And so I just hope that you guys take it to the same heart, because again, if we have a cog maker for our business, we would take great care of that cog maker. You are your cog maker, so take some time for your blowhole. Thank you all so much. Please stick around for the Mega Agents, for the Mega Agent Mastermind. We'll follow that up with Solo Agent Alliance and new agent orientation. Thank you all very much for all your input. Enjoy your day.
Yeah, yep.
Just got in touch and. I was like, oh, sugar?
I have two children. No, one just graduated high school and one had their last day of 8th grade today.
No, I mean, you're.
Great graduation.
So,
No, and I'm so.
No graduation. Unless you do.
No, maybe it's
Okay, well, this is great graduation. 8th grader does not have graduation. Yeah, we're Valley Fair. Ours will never get that.
Yeah, last year.
I'll keep you posted. Oh my God.
How you doing, ma'am?
Get us all ready to go on the market.
Really? Have a new listing?
So I was like, yeah, it was really, coming soon tomorrow, live Friday. We're supposed to have pictures on Monday, but.
Yeah, that was motivating, we were good. I still.
Wow. And,
Yeah.
you're supposed to be, right, yeah, so the Mondays, I gotta find.
We're full tonight, like.
And I looked, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. I'm like, color what?
Okay, we can probably. Anyway, I sent.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's still out, it's cheaper, and stuff. Oh, probably. And I'm like, well, yeah, but that's actually like 20 minutes, like, but I was like,
Yeah, next week.
oh,
Hey.
well, I'm sure. Well, they're all. Oh, I didn't, they remind me of something.
I don't, send it, and I'm like, I would love it.
I'm sure I have somebody in there that's.
Oh,